Hello. So I grabbed a few discs off the shelf from the F section. What the F? Because recently I really haven't had time at all to be going to the any shops, be looking for secondhand CDs because for many reasons, but it's just the last 2 months have been pretty hectic to say the least. And I think just on, was it Saturday? I think Saturday morning, I quickly called into the local shop near where I live, and very much just the same usual stuff. Nothing there. There was one thing that I would have got. It was Kimbra. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a runny nose. Kimbra is a New Zealand artist. She did that duet with Gautier, the somebody I used to know. The female vocalist on that's Kimbra. She's from New Zealand, and I actually know very little about her solo work, but there was a CD there of an album she released in 2012, and I was very surprised to see that. So I picked it up, of course, open it, and it's empty. It's just the case, no CD inside. So I think, well, that sucks. So yeah, but other than that, I haven't even really called into any of the stores. I just my shifts at work have been pretty all over the place and just not conducive at all to having any kind of free time. And then I've just a lot of family time, like issues, or not issues, but just looking after my kid. And my wife works full time. And so, basically, whatever time that I'm not working, I'm doing something else. Very little free time is my point. Um, so, what have we got? F. These are ones that were sitting on the F or part of the F section. I didn't grab some of them because they were like, for example, Fun Living Criminals. I've got like 5 or 6 albums of theirs, so I didn't just grab one of them because one day I maybe want to show all of them together. So we have the Fugees. Remember them? Foreigner, Fleetwood Mac, and the Feelers. Oops, sorry, I just knocked the camera. Now you probably noticed there that three of those four were greatest hits collections, which I've talked about a lot before. That that really is the predominant thing to find in secondhand shops, charity shops, because that's what most people buy. The kind of people who are hanging on to albums maybe are more music collectors or fans, and so you see far fewer albums, and it's more just greatest hits collections or compilation collections. So let's go through this. Actually, this first one, no, that's not even secondhand. The other three, this is, I should have thought about that. This is actually a new CD. I got this when I was in Japan, I think. Was it in Japan? I'm almost certain I got this in Japan, and it was very cheap. Yes, it is from Japan. It says there. Um, hey, here it is. That's right. It's got the liner notes. Uh, I've talked a lot about in some of my previous videos about buying CDs in Japan, and be that secondhand or new, and that it's really is the, I don't know, the Shangri-La, or a physical music fans paradise, because there's just so much stuff available, new and secondhand. The secondhand market in particular is just massive. Now, of course, a lot of the time, then you're getting Japanese editions, and maybe that's not what you want. But I do find most of them, at least Western artists, will have English on the cover and the track listing, and then they'll usually have a liner note insert with the Japanese information, as they do here. Now, this was new, but I'm pretty sure the reason I bought this was because it was like something crazy, like 400 won or something at Tower Records. And that's another thing. They still have a lot of those record stores that have, you know, long since gone defunct in our countries. Well, I shouldn't say our countries. I'm assuming that most people watch this are from the US or Canada or the UK or Europe or Australia. But we all know that most record stores, at least in the form they used to be, don't exist anymore. And so things like Tower Records or HMV or whatever else was the predominant chain in your country don't exist. But in Japan, they still do exist. You see them around quite a lot. I got this at the Tower Records in Shibuya, which is a suburb of inner Tokyo, and it's a 5 or 6 level, 5 stories, 6 stories of music. And I got to say, 4 out of 6 of those levels are probably Japanese music, like J-pop or J-hip-hop, which I actually do like some Japanese music, and I actually have quite a few Japanese artists, but there's also a lot of Japanese music I can't stand. But there's not. It's not as though it's all like rock or electronic or anything like that. But anyway, this was probably I think about 400 won or something like that, which would be about $4. And it's just a greatest hits edition of Fleetwood Mac, which you've probably seen before. That's probably one of the more famous greatest hits collections of Fleetwood Mac. I think this was originally released in the late 80s. 88, I think it says down there. This has all the songs you expect, except it doesn't have the chain. I've always noticed that this compilation doesn't have the chain, which I would consider the chain to be one of Fleetwood Mac's greatest hits. Yeah, there's not really much else to say about that. I like Fleetwood Mac as this kind of the same way as everyone else does. Like it's kind of just it's music that's so played and overplayed and such. As if you grew up in the 80s or even younger, like older than me, like in the 70s or even after me in the 90s, Fleetwood Mac is just one of those bands. This music is just played everywhere. And even if you don't know Fleetwood Mac, you do know Fleetwood Mac because it's a kind of thing. I could put this on to someone who would say, I don't know Fleetwood Mac, and I could play them like Rhiannon, Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, Gypsy, and they would know all those songs. And probably some of the other ones, Dreams, Little Lies, Say You Love Me. These are all just part of the cultural fabric of many countries, because I guess some of their albums were just so massive that they can't help but be. Foreigner. So this was secondhand. I got this, I think, $1 probably. Originally, this was on sale at the Warehouse for $12.99. The Warehouse is kind of the New Zealand version of, I guess, Walmart or... No, not Kmart, because we have Kmart, and Kmart's a little bit different. Yeah, Walmart or Target. I think that's what they model it. It used to be Warehouse when it first started. Actually, I know the guy who started the Warehouse, Stephen Tyndall, Sir Stephen Tyndall now. He his children went to the school I went to. He's one of the richest men in New Zealand. He started up this retail chain. And he since sold it, I think. Well, it went public, and he sold the majority of the shares that he had. And he got a knighthood, so he's Sir Stephen. And he went to. I grew up Catholic. My parents are Catholic, and Stephen Tyndall, and his family went to my church as well. He was a very down-to-earth, normal guy. Didn't let the money get to his head at all. But off track there. So. What was I saying? Oh, that's right. The Warehouse used to be kind of like this really cheap import place. And then it kind of became more like Walmart, Target. And for a period there, they had a music section where you could buy CDs. And they had some pretty good bargains, I remember. And now they don't sell CDs at all, obviously. But whoever bought this did buy that at that time. There's Foreigner. This is in very good condition, this CD. Except for that crack there on the front cover. It almost looks like it's barely been touched. So Foreigner, a band, again, like Fleetwood Mac, that are kind of just you know, even if you don't know, what would you say is their most famous song? I Want to Know What Love Is, maybe? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know that much about Foreigner, but I know that when I put on a Foreigner CD, I realize how many songs I do know of theirs. Got 6 guys in the band. A lot of those bands in the 70s, I guess 60s as well, in the 70s, had huge lineups like the Doobie Brothers and Leonard Skinner and bands like that. Like you see them and there's like 12 guys on stage. I guess a lot of them have got like brass sections like saxophonists and stuff like that. But look at that. Foreign, Foreigner has long endured 2 disparate yet hopelessly intertwined legacies. To many, they're the hit machine whose music dominated pop radio in the 70s and 80s, but to critics and self-anointed pop what's that? I've seen that word written, but I don't know how to say it. Cognoscenti. Foreigner epitomizes corporate rock, soulless musical mercenaries assembled in a boardroom to plunder music fans with perfectly tooled guitar riffs and burnished vocal hooks. It's funny they put that in larger font, kind of dissing them, and then they go down here in smaller font. Trouble is, the first part of the heritage is indisputable fact, while the second couldn't be further from the truth. And they go on here. Jerry, who I don't know who Jerry McCulley is, but he's the one who's written this this forward for Foreigner. So they got lead guitarist Mick Jones, same name as the guy from The Clash. Lead guitarist, piano, keyboards, vocals. Lou Gramm, I've heard of him before. Lead vocals, percussion. Ian McDonald, Al Greenwood, I've heard of him as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another 3. Drums, bass, keyboards. They got 3 guys playing keyboards. Seems like a bit like overkill, doesn't it? Anyway, so they're a Foreigner compilation, the definitive, apparently. I don't really have much more to add to that either because I don't really know much about Foreigner. Fugees, when I was growing up in the 90s, they were pretty big, I remember. You might remember as well. What was that? Their debut album, The Score. And I really didn't like them. I really didn't like that kind of music. To be honest, I'm still not the biggest fan of theirs, but maybe I've come to appreciate their stuff a little bit more as I got older. You can see this was originally 1995 at ECM Music. I think ECM was Electric City Music was the original name. And you can see here they've also got a radio station sticker, My FM 88.6, Auckland's hottest music. That is the kind of, I guess, urban radio station in Auckland where I live, and it's still going now. They play rap, hip hop, and R&B type stuff. Kind of the stuff that I would typically not really listen to at all. But what do we got here? We got what songs do I recognize? Fuji La, I remember that one. Killing Me Softly with his song, that cover they did of was it Roberta Flack? Ghetto Superstar, was that the Fugees? I mean, that was on that was on for the soundtrack of that movie Bullwinkle, not Bullwinkle, Rocky and Bullwinkle. What was the song? The one with Warren Beatty. Maybe it was. Oh fuck it, who knows? Hang on, that's Bullworth. Bullwinkle. That was that site. I think it was like kind of like a political satire. I never actually watched it, but I know that Warren Beatty was in it, and I remember that song "Ghetto Superstar," which is a they use the same like it samples "Islands in the Stream." Islands in the Stream, Ghetto Superstar to that kind of melody. But I didn't think it was the Fugees. I thought it was just those other people. Okay, so I'm looking at it right now. Ghetto Superstar is a song by American rapper Pras, featuring ODB and Maya. That's right. So it's not produced by Pras and Wyclef Jean. Okay, so it did. Pras is that guy. Wyclef Jean's that guy. He produced it and he sung on it, but Lauryn Hill wasn't involved, and it's not actually credited to the Fugees at all. So I'm not sure why that features on here, but it does. Also, they also did a cover version of No Woman, No Cry. I don't remember that, but you know, the score, I think I remember that one as well. So yeah, the Fugees. And the last one, I'm running out of time here. The Feelers. Now, the Feelers are a New Zealand rock band. I think rock is the only way you could really describe them. I think their first album was okay. It came out in 1998, I'm pretty sure. But everything they did subsequently, I thought was boring shit. And I would actively avoid it now if I heard it on the radio, anything that they did. And really, there's only a few songs on this that I like. I really like Super System, which is the name of the album as well, but the song Super System. I've always liked that. I think that's a really good song. But yeah, other than that, I could take or leave. So, a bit rushed, but we'll leave it there. That's 3 secondhand CDs and 1 used CD, beginning with the letter F. Thank you for watching.